Utah. It is 11 o'clock on July 11th, right? July 11th? Is that the date? So this morning I was going to take you on a studio tour, and we have been working on updating the studio for about 2 weeks, I think. So I want to kind of explain what's been going on because we've got some really fun, exciting stuff happening. As always, I feel like we've just been, it's always something cool happening. Anyway, so a month or two ago, I put an offer on a little house that we were going to, little house built in 1938 and 1928. We were going to renovate that house because we've kind of needed to expand as the business grows and as I have hired another person. So it's just getting a little crowded in the studio. So I was going to move the studio down to this darling little old house and we were going to renovate that. We had an interest rate rise in the weeks that I put the offer on the house, and then I had an inspection done and realized I'm going to have to do all of the electrical and redo. I mean, it was a big project, right? To renovate this little old house and turn it into a fun little office studio. So anyway, the things I decided we're going to hold off. And so I rescinded my offer and we decided that we would kind of revamp the studio. And so that's what we've been working on. We decided, okay, instead of spending all this money on this little old house, we're going to go to IKEA and we're going to rethink how we use our space. And so we've been working really hard for the last 2 weeks, making trips to IKEA over and over. And we've got 2 more big pieces of furniture delivered today. And so anyway, bottom line is, we're going to postpone the studio tour to next week because we've got a few more things to pull together. You can kind of see it's not all pulled together. And when I show it to you and kind of take you on a walking tour of the studio, I want it to be just perfect. The other thing that's really exciting is I just ordered, hundreds, maybe, I don't know. How many bolts of fabric do you think I've ordered?
Dozens and dozens.
Dozens and dozens and dozens. I just last week have done a huge order of fabric. So that will be coming, and I want as much fabric as possible to show you because it looks so beautiful in the studio. So anyway, we're postponing the studio tour to next week. So keep your eyes open for that. Next week at this time, we'll be doing that. And in the meantime, I want to share with you a few things. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to show the block for today. So this block, you guys know that I live near the mountains, and one of my favorite things to do is to go hiking in the mountains. My husband and I went on a date night on Saturday night, and we hiked to a peak up in Albion Basin. It was about 11,000 feet, maybe a little bit even higher than that. And all along the way, the wildflowers are blooming, and it is just spectacular. One of the little flowers that's one of my favorites is this tiny, 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 this little tiny blue flower. It's a forget-me-not. And at least in Utah, it's a high alpine flower, and they grow in clusters, but they're just tiny as can be. And they just cover these meadows in the high alpine region of where I live. And so this week, the block is they are forget-me-nots. So you will be getting this pattern just after this live video. I'll put the final touches on the pattern, but you can see this is a super, super easy, really fun, very beginner friendly pattern. And you can also see that we've done, I've got this set on point. So here's one more block, several of the blocks have been set on point. And I just think this is darling. Again, with so let me kind of give you some, show you what I've done with this. So obviously we've got 3 little forget-me-not flowers that are huge compared to what they really are in my neck of the woods anyway, on a yellow block that's set on point. And then I just happen to have, you guys know I don't use plaid very often, but I do love plaid so much. And this I had used this plaid for, what was it? Like one of our Christmas, I think it was the Partridge in a Pear Tree, maybe. I can't remember. Anyway, I had this plaid and was playing around with it, and I thought it looked perfect, because next to it is the bee. So doesn't that look so cute next to each other? And then you can see that I've just, again, fussy cut some fabric and kind of embellished the corners. I've got next week's block right here. I'm not going to reveal that yet. But, and then the quilting on this, so I've already, oh no, I haven't stitched this yet. So this is just, this is ready to stitch. I'll just show you the back side here. So here's the back side. This is the, yeah. So you can kind of see the quilting there. And this has already been stitched here. This is just an overlocking or a zigzag stitch. It's really difficult to see in that video. I'll take some close-ups, but that's the stitch that I've done down here. And it's really neat and tidy. I'm really, really happy with it. This one hasn't been done yet, so I can show you again what it looks like underneath. So underneath, what I've done is after I sew the 2 pieces together on the front so that the seam is in the back, and I opened up this, I pressed open that seam, and of course all of these instructions, oh, my cat is on my, he just pushed a button. Amelia, can you come get the cat? Yes. So all of these instructions are in the main pattern. Come here, Blue. You're just gonna sit there and be good. Oh, come here, baby. Give him a cameo. Show him how adorable our kitty is. He's so love cute. Him so much. He's so sweet. Anyway, so I've opened that seam up, and then I've trimmed the batting so that the batting butts up next to each other, and then I've just tucked, you know, in the instructions I say that you can do an overlocking stitch on the batting just to hold it closed, but I'm skipping that step because I'm sewing right down this seam, and then I'm just laying this fabric there, raw edge. You can fold it if you want. And then I am doing a folded edge here on that piece. And then this is the stitch line. So I'll put this under my machine, under my foot, and I'm doing the overlocking stitch along this edge. And I am being kind of careful that as I stitch, it's getting, you know, this side. So let me show you. Oh, I don't want to show you what's next. Okay, so that's this week. I'm almost done with that, you can see. And my goal is, I am hoping to have this quilt all put together this week so that I think I might reveal the whole quilt next week, even though it would be a week early, don't you think? Maybe so. Okay, so I'm going to just show you where we are so far. So we've got this row is all finished. Again, I've just done the overlocking stitch. Okay. And it's just so, I'm really, really, really excited about this quilt. Here is now, oh, I haven't really, well, okay. Here's another row. This quilt, or you'll recognize this is the sunflower block. I will be including the sunflower block in my quilt, and therefore I will be including the sunflower in the pattern. But the pattern will actually be a baker's dozen. So you will get 12 brand new blocks, including this one. And so don't fret. If you've already purchased this, you're still going to get one more block. And I'll show you what that is at the very end. So anyway, there's that one. Oh, isn't it just as darling? It's as darling as I envisioned. And I couldn't be more happy. And then this row. So cute, right? This, you remember, was last week's block. Last week was the 4th of July, so we didn't do a live video. So anyway, there we have it. Those are all the blocks, and I have 2. So we're on block 10. There are 2 more reveals, and I will hopefully have this quilt finished by next week so that when we do a studio tour, I will show you the finished quilt. Okay, so I wanted to answer a few questions and tell you a little bit more about what I've been doing. So as you know, I have a new Bernina. It's a 790 Quilters edition. And I had a friend who asked me to do a quilt label for her. And I hadn't figured out my embroidery machine, but I said, okay, yes, I'll do it, because then it will force me to work on my embroidery. So I learned how to do a quilt label. I learned how to use my embroidery machine, and that was really super fun. So did that, but it was a little bit, 6 hours of pain and making a ton of mistakes, but I did it, and I'm excited about that. Okay, the next thing, as we're cleaning out the studio, we're coming up with all kinds of patterns and extra fabric, and we're going to do a giveaway about once a month. And today's giveaway is, so these will be patterns that have been discontinued or that we have never released. So this week we're going to be giving away this Skellington pattern. Now I know this isn't everybody's cup of tea, but I also know there are some of you that are crazy about Halloween like me. This is a foundation panel pattern. So the foundation panel looks like that. And I am going to give this away to someone who is watching. And but you have to tell me that you are interested in this, because I don't want to just ship it to you if it's going to sit in your junk pile. So if you are interested in receiving this free Skellington pattern, just make a comment in the comment section and we will choose somebody. Should we choose somebody later today so that people
do it at the end of the live video?
Yeah, but some people might be interested in, they'll be watching it through the day.
Okay, well, so just comment and say, I would love the Skellington, then we'll choose it at the end of the day.
So if you are interested in the Skellington, just say, let me know, put it in the comments, and we will choose someone by the end of the day and let you know and send this free pattern to you. Okay, so then the next thing that I want to announce is I will be a vendor at the Salt Lake City Quilt Festival, the International Quilt Festival that's coming to Salt Lake City. I have a whole bunch of tickets. So this is another giveaway. They were kind enough to send me a whole bunch of tickets. So if you are in Salt Lake or surrounding areas and you would like to come to this show, I have a ticket for you. The dates are July 21st through July 23rd. And just, you can either make a comment here or you can email me, Emily@collagequilter.com, and say, I would like a ticket to the Quilt Festival. So I've got that for you. And I hope that you'll come and see me at the Quilt Festival in Salt Lake. Okay, let's see what else. Okay, so now I want to get to some questions. I get a lot of emails and I'm looking at a lot of comments as the business kind of grows, and we've had a lot going on. So a couple things. One is about needles, quilting. So as you know, I'm doing this on my domestic machine, and I've had a lot of questions about what kind of needle I'm using. So the needle that is in my machine now is this Schmetz non-stick needle. It's a size 90. I guess that's how you say the size. I don't know how to say the size because there's multiple numbers there. That's one thing I need to understand better. I'm learning as I go, as I get better. But this is the needle that's in my machine. It's a non-stick needle. It's designed specifically for quilting through multiple layers of adhesive. So that is working well. Also at the quilt shop, on Saturday, I bought these denim needles. So the woman who does my quilting, Marion McClellan, has mentioned, I think she has mentioned using denim needles because they're super sharp. It penetrates a little bit thicker fabric. So anytime there's a lot of layers. So I will be using these as I do some quilting and just testing them out. This one is a size 90-14. This one is a size 100-16. So they are denim needles. I'm going to be trying those and I'll give you kind of my feedback about that. Let's see. These needles, these Schmetz nonstick needles, are available on collagequilter.com. Another question that I've had recently is about the tweezers. Oh, Amelia, will you go grab those tweezers? They're sitting on my machine. Why I recommend and why I use these tweezers. So my friend Heidi Profity, that is the Mosaic Quilter, this is her brand, and she's just a lovely woman. I love her to death. And we've got these tweezers that have this really sharp point. So they're different than the tweezers that I'm using to get my whiskers out. And they are perfect. I have to have tweezers floating around. They are super, super useful for dealing with pieces of fabric that I want to tuck under. I can use this like instead of a pin, that sharp little thing. So I do recommend these tweezers. Any tweezers will do, but these are especially helpful. Let's see. Okay, so let me get to questions here. One question that I just saw is, how are you going to put the rows together? So that is a great question. So I will be putting the rows together exactly the same way that I've been putting the blocks together. So you can see I have not stitched all the way. So I've left a 1/2 inch at the bottom. Maybe an inch would be good, you know, to fold this fabric up. Well, actually to fold the fabric back so that I can attach the blocks together. And I'll do a video about how to attach these blocks, or I'll do very detailed photographs and share with you. But it's exactly the same way that you put the blocks together. My cat's going crazy behind the computer again.
Come here. Come here, little Spidey.
Okay, so that's one question. Let's take a look now at questions. Okay. Let's see. Oh, this is my favorite time when I get to see everybody that is signing on from all over the place. I love it. And so we've got Texas and Boise and Rhode Island and Florida. So Florida, you might be interested in this. I will be doing a quilt workshop a couple days in there goes my cat. A couple day workshop in Pensacola, Florida. And while it's for a guild group, there will be. Will you come and get him? I don't know if you guys can hear this crazy cat. He's a kitten and he's crazy. Come here, baby.
I'll go put him downstairs.
Oh, he's so cute. I love him so much. Anyway, speaking of Florida, I'll be doing a workshop in Florida in Pensacola in October. And when the registration is open for that, I will put it on my website and it will be open to whomever. So you can register for that. Speaking of workshops, we are in the process of working with some resorts to get try and find our next retreat destination for next year. So that's in the works as well. Okie doke. Let's keep looking. Yeah, so we've got, Joe Davis from sunny North Wales. Welcome. Minnesota and Kansas and Ontario. Let's see. Oh, Barbara, I did not know that forget-me-nots are Alaska's flower. That's so cool. Okay, great. Let's see. Oh, somebody said they were expecting a sago lily. Nope, sorry. New Jersey, Georgia. Okay, Kentucky. Okay, so Sherry was the one that asked, how do you join the rows together? Same way you join the blocks together. Oh, we've got someone from Luxembourg. Wait, welcome. Somebody just said, do you design all of your patterns? I do. I am the designer of all the patterns. I am shifting the way I design a little bit so that I can make the fabric that I use available. And that's part of the reason that we've done this big expansion or kind of redesign the studio so that I'm bringing in tons and tons and tons of fabric that is my personal fabric shop. And if I am working with creating a quilt with that fabric, you will also be able to purchase the exact same fabric. So that's kind of the purpose. And let's see, Tracy from Tulsa, welcome. Let's see. Okay, so Terry just asked a great question. So if you're only using 12 blocks but provide 13, which one did you not include? So I am replacing, as I said, I'm choosing to use my sunflower block in place of the block that I'll give you at the end. And I'm not going to reveal that yet. But that's what I'm doing. So hope that answers your question. And let's see here. Okay, I'm looking at questions. Okay, good. We've got a few people that are interested in the skull pattern, which is fantastic. So we will select someone based on. Now, is my microphone not working? Some people said they're having a.
No, it's
okay.
Okay.
Seems like we're doing okay. Good. We've got lots of people who are entering the Skellington giveaway. Again, we will be giving this away later today. If you are interested, go ahead and put your comment in the comments, and I will accept entries even if you're watching this video delayed, but it has to be later today.
Make sure they say they're interested in Skellington.
Yeah, I need you to say that you're interested in Skellington.
So that, and then if you're interested in tickets, say I'm interested in tickets.
Got it.
Know which
Got
you're
it.
interested
And if you're interested in tickets, let me know if you're interested in tickets, because we've got really 2 giveaways going on. So the tickets are for the Quilt Festival next week, which is the 21st through the 23rd at the Salt Palace in downtown Salt Lake City. So I would be happy to give you these tickets. So you need to let me know, indicate which one you're interested in. Okay. See, I knew the skull is some people, it's not their thing. And so that's why I need to make sure that you're interested in it. Let's see here. Shipping will be included. Yes. Okay. Anna just asked a question. So Anna, I will ship the giveaways overseas if you'll pay for shipping, because is that fair? Okay, that's what we're going to do. So even if you're overseas, I'll pay for you pay for shipping. Okay. Kathy, hope to see you at Quilt Festival. Let me know, and I've got a ticket for you. Someone did say my microphone is cutting out. I apologize. It looks like it's doing okay now.
it's only one person that's having.
Okay, I just turned up the volume. So let's see. Are you seeing any other questions, Amelia?
What's the name of the background fabric for the Hummingbird block?
Oh, okay. Let's see. Someone just asked, what is the name of the background fabric for the Hummingbird block? Yes, I can tell you about this fabric. So this, the yellow background fabric is an art gallery fabric. We have it in stock. Unfortunately, this fabric, this green floral fabric, is an old, I believe it's Heather Bailey. And it's an old piece of fabric, several years old, that I've had for a long time. So you probably won't be able to find this, but I imagine that you can find something that's similar. And the reason I selected it, obviously, it's just got the colors that are in my quilt. It's got that Kelly green and the yellow and the red and a touch of pink. And so it just worked perfect with the rest of the quilt. Obviously, there's so much color going on in the quilt that you just need to be consistent in your color palette. It doesn't need to be exactly like mine, but if you're using this Kelly green, pull it in somewhere else in the quilt. You can see it again over here in a different fabric. And then obviously we've got that beautiful blue, and you can see the blue elsewhere in the pattern or in the project. For example, right here on this block, again, there's some yellow and the blue and yellow here. So anyway, as long as your fabric selection for your background is consistent, that you find those colors elsewhere in the quilt, your quilt will turn out great. The idea is that it is a scrappy quilt, so it's okay that everything is a little wild and crazy. So also keep that in mind. But one thing I also wanted to say, Amelia has begun doing design tips throughout the week, and her design tips have been extremely helpful. She is really good she just graduated in art and design. And so she's had a formal education in how to create good design. And so she's providing design tips in the Friday email wrap up, and then also in the Collage Quilter Academy Facebook group. So those are very helpful as I'm working on my composition and selecting fabric. I lean on Amelia a lot. Okay, let's see here. Vicki just asked a great question. How are the fabric bundles coming along? Boy, oh boy,
explain the backup.
Okay, right. So as you know, my curated fabric bundles have 18 pieces of fabric in them. And I'm pretty careful about what I'm selecting for those bundles. And I just told you I have ordered so much fabric. And unfortunately,
we have fabric that we're waiting on from May.
Yeah, we have fabric that we ordered back in May that we are waiting on to kind of finish up these fabric bundles. So that's kind of the backup. We've got a lot of fabric on order that hasn't arrived yet, and I'm not ready to release them until they're just right. The more I do this, the more I'm like, I want things to be just right. I want those fabric bundles to look a certain way. They've got to have this variety that I stand behind, that I've curated. And so I apologize. I am so sorry that it's taken so long to get these fabric bundles. The other thing, my business has been growing, and which is super exciting. And I'm really super grateful for it. I love it. I love doing what I do. But the interesting thing that we keep kind of hitting into not having enough inventory. So it's just a matter of growing pains and kind of learning how to order so that I can keep up with demand. So it's a great problem for me to have. I know it's super frustrating, and I apologize. And I thank you for your patience and your kindness and your enthusiasm about my business. So you have been along with me in this journey as my business has grown. And I can't tell you how grateful I am for that. I thank God every day for the privilege of doing what I love, and to have this community and to be able to work with my daughter and work at home. My life is so blessed, and I am so grateful for it. So anyway, that's the scoop with the fabric. Okay, so let's see if there are other questions. Yeah, Amelia's going to read the questions.
Okay. I don't understand this, but maybe you will. Do you block all of your art quilts before squaring it up if you're framing it?
Let's see. So somebody asked a question about squaring up a quilt. And if I block all of the...
Like maybe she's asking if you make them in the block.
Okay, so yeah. So let me just kind of explain the process. So all of these blocks, when I'm finished on them, I am trimming them to 14 inches square. So when I'm finished quilting, so they're a little bit larger. Some of them are a little bit larger, quite a bit larger. And then I'm trimming them down to make sure that they are all consistent. So that's very, very important with this quilt as you go method, make sure that your quilted blocks are all cut at a consistent size. So if one of yours turns out to be just a little bit smaller, like if it turns out, you know, after you've quilted it 13 and 7/8, I would recommend cutting all of your blocks, trimming all of your finished blocks, your quilted blocks the same size. That's going to make everything, that's part of, you know, ensuring that everything is easy to sew and that the seams are going to line up. So that's step number one. You know, you collage the block, lay down everything, make sure your background fabric is generally a little bit larger, even just 14¼ inches or 15 inches, whatever. These blocks that have that are set on point are actually quite a bit larger. You will trim off a good ½ inch around them, I think, so that they equal about 14 inches. So my blocks are 14 inches. And after I quilt them, that makes them, you can see how they are really, really tidy by the time I've created my rows. Now, when I do my rows, I will be very careful about lining up the seams on the front. You know how quilting is, they might be off by 1/8 of an inch or something, but because there's only 3 blocks across, I think it should be pretty tidy. And then at that time, everything should be square. If there's a problem, I will always lay my quilt on my cutting mat and lay a ruler. Grab one of my big rulers. And this is, yeah. So I'm going to line up my quilt on to make sure this edge and this edge are square, right? So that my quilt edge is here and here. And if there's anything that needs to be trimmed, I'll trim it. And then I go to the next corner and do the same thing. Make sure every corner is square. And then I'll put on my binding. At the end of this, I am toying with the idea of doing some sort of cute corner point or corner block. And it would actually just be, you know, a fusible applique collage right on top in the corners. If I feel like there needs to be some consistency throughout the quilt. So I am going to wait until everything is sewn together, and maybe you can help me decide on that. But that's something that's in the back of my mind. The other nice thing about that is if I have any seams that are not lining up, a little cute little diamond or cute little flower, something that's consistent would hide any seam that doesn't match up. So I'm going to consider that. That's just something that's in the back of my mind. And then, you know, I'll put a beautiful binding on this. I'll do a ½ inch binding. The other thing that I wanted to make sure that you, another little thing that I always do before I start sewing something together is I'm always measuring a ½ inch from the position of my needle to the stitch, or to the edge of the fabric. So always make sure that you are working with ½ inch seams, because we need everything to be consistent with the ½ inch seam when we're quilting. Okay, so if you need to measure, there's a handy little tool. Let me find it real quick. I think it's right here. I keep it right by my sewing machine. So if I change feet or something, this is what I use to just make sure that the position from my needle to where my fabric is lining up is a ½ inch. So these little things are what are going to make sure that you've got precision in your quilting. So anyway, I hope that's helpful.
So blocking, she means blocking by wetting the fabric and ironing before squaring it up.
Yes, as I'm quilting and as I'm sewing, I am always pressing and making sure that the fabric is laying flat. I also find that putting fabric under my machine that's hot and kind of damp just really makes things so well. So that's what I do. Let's see here. Amelia, you keep going.
I'm almost, okay, we've had a couple of people asking, do you have more projects in mind? What's next? Are you going to release more patterns?
Okay, so Amelia just said people have been asking if I have more patterns in the works. Yeah. I have some really, really fun things. In fact, I'm so excited to move on. Like, I've loved this quilt, but I said to Amelia, should I just release all the blocks? Because I'm ready. I want to get going on my next quilts. So yes, I have lots of things. I'm not going to commit to anything, but I'm working on some great ideas for fall. You know, I love Halloween. I've got Christmas coming up. And I've got another idea that's stewing in the back of my head. Well, another plan in the back of my head that I can't announce it because it will be a collaborative effort with somebody else. So I'm really excited about that. But yeah, so that's the plan. We've got lots coming up. Any other questions?
Yeah, people are wondering where to find my tips and the weekly Friday emails.
Okay, so where to find Amelia's tips and the weekly Friday emails? Mm-hmm. Okay, so Amelia and I have decided that we are providing kind of a wrap-up of what's happening in the studio, and those tips that she's doing are also in this weekly email on Friday that's going out. So if you need to be subscribed to my email newsletter. You should be anyway, so that you can receive all the blocks. So go to my website, make sure you're signed up for my email newsletters. So those emails are coming out on Fridays. And then the Collage Quilter Academy Facebook group is where Amelia is posting those design tips of the week. So does that answer the question? Mm-hmm. Okay, next question. Amelia, go ahead. Any other questions?
Someone just asked a question about downloads. Like, will the new patterns be downloadable?
Okay, great question. So somebody just asked a question if the new patterns will be downloadable. Here's the dealio that Amelia and I have decided. I like to provide downloadable patterns for my international customers because shipping is so expensive. We have realized that people are having a hard time with downloads. A lot of the questions that we get are where I can't find the download. I don't know where it went. I didn't receive the download. I don't know how to print it. So we're getting inundated with people who are having a problem with downloads. Therefore, going forward, we will not be doing any quilt-alongs that don't also have a physical pattern with them. So while I will still make downloadable patterns available for those who like them, because there are lots of people that love the downloads. It's super easy. You can get it instantly. But I know for a lot of people that technology is just kind of a stumbling block. And so we will be providing a physical pattern in conjunction with any downloadable pattern that we provide going forward. That's the goal. Okay.
Okay. A good transition question. Someone says, I'm new to collage quilting. What is this foundation you're talking about?
Okay. So we have had a lot of new people joining us who have never done a collage quilt before. So I want to tell you there are two types of patterns that I create. One is a foundation panel and another is a parchment pressing pattern. Parchment pressing pattern is what we're doing with this quilt along. A foundation panel uses a pre-printed foundation panel that's in black and white, and that's what this is. So let me show you what this is. A foundation panel is super, super fun, and it's easy if you've never done a collage quilt before because the design is printed in gray tones right on. Now this skull is big, isn't it? The design is printed on 100% cotton. So all you have to do is apply fabric directly to this. So you're going to just adhere fabric based on the grayscale. The gray tones guide your fabric selection and your fabric placement. So this is a really fun and easy way to do it. So those are the 2 patterns that I provide. If you want to learn more about collage quilting, I've assembled, I think, a lot of resources to help you. My YouTube channel, my blog has a lot of tutorials and lots of links to things that are common questions. And then, of course, the Collage Quilter Academy Facebook group is fantastic because you can ask questions and see what other people are doing. So if you've had the question, other people have also had the question, and that's a safe place to be able to ask questions. I monitor that group, and then we've got lots of people who are also awesome. It is just a really, really fun group of sweet people who are kind and encouraging, and we're just having a good time creating together. Okay, so any other questions?
I'm seeing some border fabrics. Is that what you use in your framing around these critters, etc., on the edges?
Yeah, so one of the fabric bundles, a couple of the fabric bundles that we're working on, the new bundles that we'll be releasing are border fabrics, or fabrics that are really conducive for stripes. So for example, this is a fabric that I used in my Wee Green Beasties quilt. And I pulled it out again. I was just playing with it and realized, holy cow, that makes a beautiful ribbon. So I've used that a couple times in this. You can see that again here. And I mean, you can really see it throughout all of these. Some of these blocks have these border fabrics. Let's see. I don't want to show you that one yet. This one also. So another fabric bundle we're doing those bundles will have these sort of border fabrics. We will also have fussy cutting bundles with beautiful flowers and whatnot. Things like that contain beautiful leaves like these and other leaf prints. This one, the bee, has some beautiful flowers, and we'll be making, that has been in one of our fussy cutting bundles, I think. So we'll be providing these bundles that provide accessory, just really fun, yummy accessory fabric to cut out and use in your collage quilting. Remember we've talked about French fabric? Well, guess who gets to spend a day in Paris at the end of August? Me. I am going to go and see if I can find some French fabric. So that will be really fun. Okay, any other questions?
I've been trying to find your tutorial on using the parchment method. Where is that?
Okay. So somebody said they're looking for the tutorial on using the parchment method. There have been multiple tutorials about using the parchment method, and I think
so we have a really in-depth tutorial, paid video tutorial with all of our methods, and then we also have a blog post that is a quick run through of like what parchment pressing is.
Okay. So Amelia just told me, so if you're looking for a tutorial about using the parchment pressing method, I'm going to give you 3 resources. Number 1, my book. Okay. So either book, the Take Flight book, has step-by-step photos and instructions about using creating with a parchment pressing technique. There are also paid videos that demonstrate this method. So those are paid videos that you can access from my website. Remember, the website, kind of the central hub where you can find all of this information, is collagequilter.com. There is also a video tutorial. I think it might have been on the Winter Cardinal, possibly, but look on the blog. Do a search for parchment pressing. And do you have that specific blog post?
I just posted it in her comment.
Okay, so Amelia just posted it in your comment, so you can go check that out. So hope that answers the question. What else do we have? I hope this is a useful resource for you. It sounds like it is for you to ask questions of me live. I really enjoy it because we get a lot of questions, and my goal is to make sure that you have success and that you absolutely love collage quilt making like I do. So that's why I'm here. I'm here for you.
Does
Okay,
your
next.
Collage Quilter Essentials book include any patterns?
Yeah, so the question was, does your Collage Quilter Essentials book include any patterns? Yes, it does.
See those on.
You can see those on the website. So collagequilter.com, go to the books, and you can see what those patterns are. Art in Bloom is one of them. The Pretty Plum pattern. I can't remember off the top of my head what else is. Oh, the parrots are in there.
Tea Party.
And the Tea Party quilt. So that runs the gamut from beginner in the Tea Party to intermediate in the parrots. And it's all step-by-step instructions. So I highly recommend that book. That's why I wrote it, to help you with this technique. Okay. Anything else, Amelia?
Not that I'm seeing.
Okay. Oh, we have somebody from Namibia. I love that. I love saying Namibia in Africa. That's amazing. That's in Western Africa, I think, right? Okay, let's see. I think that's it then, you guys. Thank you so much for spending your time with me. I know time is super precious, and I am grateful to have you here. I'm grateful to have you in my community, and I'm so happy that we can do this together. It's a joy and privilege in my life. So I hope you have a wonderful week, and I will be working hard in the studio. I will get this block out to you today. Please make sure that you've subscribed so that you get the block. And let's show it one more time. Where is it? This one. Okay, so this block will be coming to your inbox today. Okay, take care, everybody. Oh, one more question.
Just again, if you want tickets, actually have them email us. That's easier to keep track of who wants them.
Tickets, email me, Emily@collagequilter.com.
Yes, that's all.
Okay, all right, talk to you later. See you, bye. Have a great day.